let me give you a couple of things from the Davos meeting yesterday. President Trump spoke at Davos. He talked about the revolution of common sense and confronting the economic chaos, which we covered yesterday. And then he talked about what he did on day one, which was he cut the ridiculous, and I'm quoting, wasteful Green New Deal, which he calls a scam, withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord, ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate, and he said he's begun the largest deregulation campaign in history. So let's pick it up right after that. Trump at Davos, cut 10. Here's why companies, he said, should come to America.
To further unleash our economy, our majorities in the House and Senate, which we also took along with the presidency, are going to pass the largest tax cut in American history, including massive tax cuts for workers and family, and big tax cuts for domestic producers and manufacturers. And we're working with the Democrats on getting an extension of the original Trump tax cuts, as you probably know, by just reading any paper. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA. Already Americans' economic, you can see this, I think, maybe even in your wonderful, wonderful room that you're all gathered together, so many of my friends, but Americans, the economic confidence is soaring like we haven't seen in many, many decades, maybe not at all. Upon my election, it was just announced that small business optimism skyrocketed by 41 points in a single month. That's the highest ever. There's never been anything like that.
So he's right about that. And he is carrot and stick. Come to America, build your products, which is not something the World Economic Forum had been concentrating before. He also talked about the Green New Deal, saying we need 3 times the energy just for AI. So we're going to be making energy. We are unleashing the Kraken when it comes to energy. He also said something about bringing America back and ending the border chaos. This is cut 12.
America is back and open for business. And this week, I'm also taking swift action to stop the invasion at our southern border. They allowed people to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It was ridiculous. I decided and declared to do. And very, very importantly, a national emergency on our border immediately halted all entry of illegal border crossers, of which there were many, and began promptly returning the illegal trespassers back to the place from which they came. That action, as you've probably seen, has already started very strongly. I've deployed active duty U.S. military and National Guard troops to the border to assist in repelling the invasion. It was really an invasion. We will not allow our territory to be violated. After 4 long years, the United States is strong and sovereign and a beautiful nation. Once again, it's a strong, sovereign nation.
Strong, sovereign nation. Who is receiving that message? Who's that aimed toward? He's speaking to the leaders of the world at the World Economic Forum, but these are the same leaders of the world that have been pushing for loss of sovereignty. They've been pushing all of these illegals all throughout Europe. Well, Europe, the Europeans, they don't like it. That's what's causing the uproar and so many of the elections that they are now trying to control, because people are saying, I want my country I believe in my country as it is. I don't want to lose all of my traditions and my history, and I don't want it to be an Islamic country, period. And so people are starting to rise up. This is a shot across the bow. This is not delivered just to the leadership. We're not playing that game anymore. This message is for the people of Europe. This is the first time I have seen America pick the torch back up to say, we're going to be the shining city on the hill. We are going to lead the world back to freedom. You can choose not to. We're not going to force you into it, but we're not going down the crazy path anymore. And that's going to resonate with all kinds of people all around the world. We are once again in the position of giving the world hope. This is a very, very big deal and should shake the foundations of the World Economic Forum. Anybody who's smart, who's a politician, knows, I'm in real trouble, because now there is a leader on the other side saying, no, don't have to do it. We're not going to. And it's not Javier Milei. Javier Milei, what he's doing, I hope we're going to do a lot of the things that he's doing in Argentina. But it's Argentina. So it's not getting the kind of global, exposure that happens immediately because Donald Trump is somebody who just controls the media. They can't help themselves. And it's also the United States making big, bold statements. Now, here's what he said about DEI. Got 13.
In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly. With another historic executive order this week, I also ended the weaponization of law enforcement against the American people and, frankly, against politicians, and restored the fair, equal, and impartial rule of law. My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. And these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country. You have to hear that word, merit-based country. And I've made it official, an official policy of the United States, that there are only two genders, male and female. And we will have no men participating in women's sports, and transgender operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely.
Okay. Think of this. I want you to put yourself in the role of an average British citizen. And then put yourself in the role as the head of the Labour Party. Which one's celebrating?
The average citizen.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's interesting. I think if you, let's say you're the average left-wing European leader, political leader, and you've been doing this a long time, you have been on this arc, which is bringing the world to your side for a very long time. And I think 2016 happens, and you look at it as sort of a one-off.
Yes.
You know, it's
you
a
hope
speed
it's
bump.
a fluke.
Yeah. Like, this is crazy. This guy, he's really famous. She was a bad candidate. Somehow she got in there, or he got in there.
But you also have to write off as a fluke Brexit.
Yeah. All right. Yep. That's true.
Those happen at the same time. So there was a warning sign both places. This is not where the people are going. Okay. Go ahead.
So now this happens in 2024. What is the difference in your reaction if you're that person?
Run for the hills. Hide. Become a chameleon. Switch. Do everything you can to blend in. And do all you can to talk a different game and regroup. That's what I would do if I a scumbag, left-wing politician over in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm honest, and I would look at this and say, you know what, I really thought this stuff would work, but it's just not going to happen. The people do not want any of this stuff. I would be leading the campaign for my side to stop it. Stop it. Because what's at the other end, if you don't stop it, is revolution.
But this has never been about what the people want.
No.
Right? I mean, they always knew, it was always, we know better for you, what you need and what you want. We're the experts. We're at the top.
And they would have gotten away with it had it not been for, the Scooby-Doo van and the internet.
Those pesky kids.
Oh, those damn kids.
They're always getting in the way.
Right.
But, past, Shaggy and Scooby, there is this element, I think, of this where, this isn't a minor thing. This is your grand experiment going down in flames.
Yes. Yeah. So the only thing that the leadership of the WEF, who believe that, and this is why Sam Altman is so scary, the only thing you have going for you is if you can get AI fast enough online to create a cage for those who are not in control of AI. Okay? That's, I believe, why Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, everybody else suddenly, Sam Altman gave lots of money to the left and Biden's campaign. He was not a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's a Trump supporter, and Trump is giving him this access and saying, hey, create AI for us. That is extraordinarily dangerous.
Don's getting a lot of new friends these days.
Yeah.
They're all coming to make good friends. And there's a lot of positives to that. Obviously, a lot of concerns with it, too. They're going to try
when it comes to AI, there's nothing he should be more careful with.
Yeah.
Because that is the only thing left they can do, is create an absolute cage that humans just can't escape from.
Put this in historical perspective, Glenn. Bring me back to Christmas 1991, right? The Soviet Union collapses.
Yes.
Is this the biggest event since then? On that sort of wow, the whole world's changing directions. There was lots of warnings. Maybe we're not to that point yet. Maybe we're in 1989 or 1988. How do you?
No, I think we are just at the point of the wall coming down. Donald Trump broke the wall. So I think we're there. But what you don't understand is we are on the other side of that wall as we now walk forward is the biggest event of all mankind. And I'm going to talk about that next hour a bit. But you have to understand there is a new world just on the horizon. If you read what Sam Altman is saying and others are saying, you cannot convince me that they don't know how to make ASI. They just don't have the computing power, the cloud system. They don't have the computing power, and they don't have the power. 2027 is when they're supposed to plug this thing in. And I'm sorry, but I do not believe that they aren't going to be able to go to ASI almost immediately.